Are you struggling with high ping in XDefiant? What even is ping, and what can you do to make it better? Well, I'm going to break it down right now. Hey guys, Nightfall here, and lately I've been hearing a lot of talk about high ping in XDefiant servers, and just overall the servers being bad. But what actually is ping, and is there anything that you can do to make it better? While XDefiant doesn't ever tell you what server you're connected to, as it always just says US East, US Central, US West, Europe, you get the point. You never really know what server you're actually connected to. So let's take the US servers as an example because that's where I play, more specifically in the US East servers. And since we don't have any confirmed server lists for XDefiant that I know of, let's take a look at Apex for a better breakdown because I'm sure the server locations are probably similar. Apex has 6 servers that would fall under the category of US East, which are the first 6 that you see on this list here. There's 2 in Virginia, 3 in South Carolina, and 1 in New York. Now, for me personally, I get about 20 to 30 ping in any game of XDefiant that I get put into a US East server on average. Sometimes it goes a little bit higher than that, but that all really depends on what server I'm playing on. So let's look at the closest server that I'm probably being connected to in most of those games, the Virginia servers. Now this screenshot of a map shows the red dot, which is the location of that Ashburn server, which you can find because here are the IP addresses for the Apex servers, and you could just use an IP tracker and get a general location of where it's at. If you go in a straight line, I'm located about 250 miles from that server location. So now, what is ping? Well, ping is basically the time it takes for a packet of data to be sent from your device, PC or console, and received by that server, and is represented in milliseconds. So for me, it takes approximately 20 to 30 milliseconds for my game to send data from what I see and do in the game to the server. So in most cases, the lower ping you have, the better gaming experience you're going to have overall. However, distance isn't always the only variable in determining ping. Your internet service provider and your connection can also play a large part in how big or how small that ping number is. Your connection speeds don't necessarily play a role in ping, so it doesn't really matter if you're already at 500 megabits download and upload speeds or 1 gigabit. So what I'm saying is, don't spend money upgrading your internet speeds if ping is what you're trying to reduce, because unless you're throttled by your connection speed and a bunch of other devices on your internet, it's not really going to help. So outside of just straight up moving closer to that server location, what can you actually do? Well, for starters, you always want to make sure that you run a check on your ISP and make sure you don't have any packet loss or anything like that that could be affecting it. Make sure you don't have a ton of other devices connected to the same internet at once that are hogging up bandwidth. And then lastly, but might be the most obvious, use an Ethernet cord. Make sure it's Cat 6 or higher. Anything lower, you may find that your Wi-Fi gives you better results. And under no circumstance should you ever have that. You should always have less ping when you're hardwired in over Wi-Fi. So that covers all of the mostly free options and checks, but is there anything else that you can do if you've already exhausted all of these options and you still don't have the ping you want? Well, let's pause for a second right here to talk about the ping that you want. Of course, not everyone's going to get single digit ping. Everybody sees that guy in the lobby with 9 ping and everybody wants that, but you can't get that. No matter what you do, unless you live closer to that server, you're not going to get 9 ping. In fact, if you pay attention to everyone else in an average lobby of XDefiant, usually the lowest person in the lobby will have about 20 or so ping. So I'd say if you fall within that range of 20 to 30, you shouldn't really be concerned, and there isn't really much more that you can do anyway, outside of moving, of course, which if you move to get closer to a server for a game, you might be insane or rich, but there might be some other options for you. There are a couple programs that help reduce ping. One of the more well-known ones is called XDefiant. Now, I've tried this as a free trial and it didn't really help me much, only saw about a 2 millisecond difference when using it. But note that XDefiant is only for PC gamers. So what about the console players? Well, there is something else similar to XDefiant called Gear Up Booster, which I also tried the PC application as a free trial and again, got the same results of only about 1 or 2 milliseconds lower than my actual ping without it. They do offer a device which is basically a router that I definitely haven't tried because it's not free, and they claim it can help lower your ping on console. Not really sure how this works, but just with a basic understanding, if anything, it seems like it wouldn't help at all and may actually make your ping worse. Now, both of these services do come at a pretty high price tag, as both services on PC usually cost at minimum around $70-ish per year, without any kind of deals or coupons that you may be able to find. And the Gear Up Booster router costs almost 70 by itself, and then you still need the subscription to use it. So if you're willing to shell out that kind of money, it might be up your alley, but definitely try to get the free trial if you're on PC and see if it works for you, because if you have slightly higher ping than I did, it might work a little better for you. Other than that, ping is what it is, and there isn't a whole lot you can do to change it or lower it, which I know can suck at times depending on where you're located, but that's just something every gamer deals with at some point or another. But hopefully this has been somewhat educational and helpful, and maybe one of those programs does help you. So have you already used either of those services? And also, what is your ping currently, and what servers are you playing on? Let me know down in the comments. And before I end this video entirely, I want to give a shout out and a fan mention, or rather a double fan mention, to both XPenji and Dazed Native. Always fun and super cool to run into fans in-game and see these types of messages. And if you want a chance at being in one of these fan mentions at the end of one of my videos, if we're ever on the same team together, just let me know down in the chat. But I think this was the first time that I had 2 people in one game. So hopefully I run into more of you in game, and I'll catch you in the next upload.